Hello and welcome to today's episode of the program The Love of People and Governance here on Spectrum Television. Well, this is a program that talks about political and also social issues here on Spectrum Television. Well, my name is Rachel David White. A quick one. Let's start from the first story we'll be looking at today. All the way to Gabon. Well, the spouse of the deposed president of Gabon, Ali Bongo Ondimba, has been sentenced to prison, according to report. While our reporters understand that Ali Bongo, some months ago, don't forget, was put under house arrest following the coup in the Central African nation on August 30th, 2023, an incident which marked the end of the 55-year Bongo dynasty rule. While the Potters allege the former head of state and his entourage falsified the election result. A lawyer to the Bongo family, Francio Zimere, revealed in a statement today that Sylvia Bongo Ondimba Valentin, who is suspected of embezzling public funds, was detained on Wednesday evening. Well, Zimere described the detention as arbitrary and illegal procedure. This news, of course, got to the pressman earlier today, and we understand that Bongo's wife was indicted on September 28 for money laundering, forgery and falsification of records. And in the latest case, Sylvia Bongo and her son Noureddine Bongo Valentin were actually accused of manipulating the former president, who has not fully recovered from a serious stroke in 2018. While the duo was said to have effectively run the oil-rich country for the past 5 years and have misused public money. Don't forget that Noureddine Bongo Valentin has also been placed in detention since the coup, charged with corruption. Away from that, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz has all Hamas activities in Germany says all Hamas activity in Germany will be banned following the militant group's unprecedented attack on Israel at the weekend. Well, in addition, the Palestinian Solidarity Network, Samidon, is to be banned as well. Well, Scholz said in a speech before Parliament in Berlin this morning, Hamas is already classified as a terrorist organization by the European Union and the United States as well. And the Samidon Association cheered the attack on Israel on Saturday by handing out sweets in Berlin's Neukölln district. Well, according to them, they said this is despicable and this is inhuman, and it says it contradicts all the values to which they are committed to our countries. And Scholz says they do not accept hatred and incitement without action, and they do not tolerate anti-Semitism. Well, Hamas, the militant group that rules Gaza, launched a large-scale surprise attack against Israel's civilian communities on Saturday, and Israel responded with the ongoing airstrikes on the densely populated coastal enclave. So far, more than 1,000 people on each side have been killed. Meanwhile, Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, in a late-night address yesterday, declared that every Hamas member is a dead man. Wow. And according to Jerusalem Post, Netanyahu spoke during a press conference by the newly formed emergency government set up to persecute the war against Hamas. And the other members of the emergency government are the Defense Minister Yoav Gallant of the Likud party and former Defense Minister Benny Gantz, who heads the National Unity Party as well. And as the war enters the sixth day, the Israeli emergency government has vowed to wipe Hamas off the face of the earth. And the Israeli Prime Minister linked Hamas to the Islamic State, ISIS, noting that the Palestinian militants burned people alive, raped victims, and shot babies in the head when they invaded southern Israel on Saturday. While the attack, described as the most deadly in decades, prompted retaliatory airstrikes on Palestinian settlements in Gaza by the Israeli forces. And the Israeli government declared war after the attack, with the Israel Defense Forces IDF embarking on preparation and Operation Swords of Iron. Meanwhile, Al Jazeera is an update on the war on Thursday this morning. While reported that the Palestinian Health Ministry said the death toll in Gaza has risen to 1,200. About 5,600 persons have sustained injuries so far, and the number of people killed in Israel had also risen to 1,200. And Al Jazeera also quoted the United Nations UN as saying that 338,934 Palestinians have been displaced in Gaza as Israel's devastating bombing raids continue overnight. Now, a former Human Rights Watch chief, Kenneth Ross, said Israel's indiscriminate and disproportionate attack on Palestinian civilians could constitute a war crime. While Israel's war with Hamas has been one of the most deadly, I must say, and very, very devastating so far, I mean, compared to the war in Russia and Ukraine. Quickly, let's come back to Nigeria. While the President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has asked the Supreme Court to dismiss the appeal filed by Atiku Abubakar and the People's Democratic Party, PDP, challenging the outcome of the February 25th presidential election. Tinubu, in a response filed on Saturday, described the appeal as abusive in nature and prayed for its dismissal. And the president insisted that the appellant failed to prove all the allegations and submissions at the tribunal. He submitted that the tribunal was correct in arriving at its verdict and affirming his election. Well, Tinubu's appeal comes after Abubakar and the PDP filed a 35-ground notice of appeal alleging that the tribunal's findings were done with grave errors and gross misrepresentation, which resulted in a miscarriage of justice. And the appellant are praying the Supreme Court to set aside the entire findings and conclusions of the tribunal. Well, don't forget that on September 6, the tribunal dismissed the petition brought to it by Atiku and his counterpart in the Labour Party, Peter Obi, and of course declared President Bola Tinubu as the authentic winner of the just concluded presidential election. All right, still in Nigeria, concerning the security matters, the Minister of Police Affairs, Senator Ibrahim Gaidam, has called for the assistance of Turkey in the area of aerial surveillance and technical system to tackle insecurity in Nigeria. While the minister said this during the visit of the Embassy of Turkey in Nigeria, led by Ambassador Hidayat Bayakta, also stressed the need to explore avenues for collaborations with Turkey in the areas of intelligence sharing and capacity building to actually combat transnational crimes. Well, the minister pointed out that the Nigeria Police Force will require the intervention of Turkey in the area of procurement and use of unarmed aerial vehicles for precise mapping, surveillance and intelligence-led policing. And according to him, in his words, he says, as we face ever-evolving terrorism, cybercrime and organized crime, it is crucial that we strengthen our partnership and work hand in hand to ensure the safety and security of our nations. He said the Republic of Turkey shares a long history of diplomatic relations based on mutual respect, trust, and of course common vision for progress. And earlier, Bayraktar thanked Nigeria for the support and donations during the earthquake crisis in Turkey, noting that both countries have a vibrant and important relationship as well. He said the level of relationship in the economic, political and military sphere has been overwhelming and growing at a rapid pace, stressing that Nigeria plays a major role in the region and Africa. In his words, he says, since Nigeria got independence in 1960, the relationship between Turkey and Nigeria continued to grow without issues, and they intend to sign two agreements on security operation and memorandum of understanding on cooperation and law enforcement training once they secure approval from Turkey. Well, let's see how that goes. So these are the major issues we'll be looking at today in the course of today's program. And of course, going back to Gabon, you remember the coup that took place in Gabon immediately after the elections, and that happened just after the coup in Niger. And just as we still talk about it and the war in Ukraine and Russia, we've seen another war between Israeli and Hamas. Well, these are some of the issues we'll discuss today, so just stay tuned. When we come back from this short break, the phone lines will be open and our guests will be here, so we'll discuss better. Stay tuned. We're coming right back.
Nigerian police, which is the only one allowed by grossly abused. Our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigerian police force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian police.
No, my lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola?
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not.
My lord, the matters council is leading the evidence in our matters.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord, but you can't be talking about cases which are in court,
Is
my lord.
this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord. These cases are in court, my lord. I'm just reminding your lordship.
My lord, sorry, my lord, I think I'll be in cross-examination.
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
One truth not often told is about the transformation that Africa has undergone in recent decades. Africa is shaping its own destiny and should be referred to as the African opportunity. On Spotlight Africa, we paint the African picture the African way, laced with truth, detail, and the color of the African continent. Join Uyai Anyekan every Tuesday and Thursdays at 4:30 p.m. Spotlight Africa, telling the African story.
All right, welcome back. It's still the program Below the People and Governance here on Spectrum Television. In case you're just joining us, then you are right on time. And of course, our guest has been on standby waiting for us in the person of Bernard Titus. Welcome, Bernard Titus, aka Mr. Take Back Niger. Hello, good evening. Okay, I think we're having some network issues, but we'll be able to settle that in less than no time. Well, the first story we're looking at today is the war between Hamas and Israel. Well, the way it looks, I've read some comments on social media making the rounds about or if things are not being put in place. Well, we don't know what that holds, but we're just hoping and praying that everything is going to be put in place. Trust me, Israel sounds like they are ready for Hamas. Of course, remember the Hamas launched a surprise attack, and according to Israel, it shot babies in the head, rape victims, and all of that, which is something quite painful. And Israel has launched another retaliatory attack on them as well over the weekend. And of course, in addition, the Palestinian Solidarity Network, Samudun, is to be banned, and schools, of course, has said that Germany has banned every activity of Hamas in Germany as well. It says Hamas is already classified as a terrorist organization by the European Union and the United States as well. And of course, they have promised that the Israel Prime Minister has promised that every Hamas citizen is a dead man, and that already sounds like a very serious issue. So this is something that calls for a concern of every other country around the world, just like we saw some, I would say, would I say shortfalls in the nation's economy due to the war between Russia and Ukraine. Of course, every country that fights in one way or the other, it affects countries around the world as well. So this is a very serious issue and calls for a very deep concern. And another report we'll be looking at today, a major report, is the issue of security. Of course, the Minister for Police Affairs has already talked about partnering or getting help from Turkey in terms of air surveillance. Well, this is another area that I think I would say, if you ask me, I would give it to the Minister of Police Affairs, Senator Ibrahim Gaidam, for calling for the assistance of Turkey in the area of aerial surveillance and technical system to actually tackle insecurity in Nigeria. Welcome to the show, Mr. Bernard.
Thank you, Ma.
Okay, so I just want to know meanwhile, how are you doing? It's been a while, a very long while.
Yeah, it's been a while. I'm all right. I'm doing all right.
Okay, so let me ask you this way. As a Nigerian, how are you doing?
Well, the Nigerian is telling on everybody.
Okay.
We're feeling the dollarization of the economy.
Okay, everything will be fine. So let's quickly head to the first report we're looking at today. That's between the war between Hamas and Israel. I mean, that came as a surprise even to, the Israeli citizen. And immediately, Israel has responded by launching a retaliatory attack on Hamas and has declared every Hamas citizen as a dead man. So that sounds very serious. What is your concern in this war between Hamas and Israel?
Well, it's quite, this issue has lingered for a very long time, right from 2006. 2006 has lingered for a very long time. So you discover that the survival of Israel within that, both the south and the east wing, you discover that the territories there are surrounded by Arab nations. So then it by surprise everybody we're not probably they're not even prepared, but Hamas has taken a long time. Palestinians have already prepared themselves according to their leaders that they want Israel to leave Damascus, which is not possible. So if you check what the root cause of this place, this is a common in Nigeria. It's a common thing where people usually go for communal crisis because of land dispute. Or my family, you see some families engaged in such. Oh, my father said this was bad. Or intercommunal issues usually occur. But then I think this issue have lingered for. There should be a proper way of handling peaceful arbitration is very important. But however, as it stands now, it has de-escalated and lives have lost on the both parties. And Israel Netanyahu made a very strong statement that Hamas will be made desolate, and that scares me. You know, that and the international community are also supporting Israel. Like the Iran Prime Minister, I was saying earlier yesterday, that there is nowhere that Palestinians will seek, allies like the nation have supported Israel in the ongoing war. So, in my opinion, I'm thinking that there should be international community should do better, not usually trying to take advantage of where there is crisis to exploit and gain dominance and all of that. So that's where my worries are.
Okay, let's move from the war right now. But okay, I think just one more thing. Now there are concerns from people that if this issue of coups and wars is not handled properly, we might be looking at a third world war. Do you accept that session, or that would I say is just a speculation?
Well, when crisis, happen in any particular nation, especially international community like that, there is there's going to be some critical assessment and impact, but economically and otherwise. When it happened with Russia and Ukraine, every nation and emerging countries were like, oh, this is going to be. In fact, you saw some of the African nation continent throwing their weight behind Ukraine, and then let me borrow a phrase. So we have a war, economic war in our own country, and then we want to go for a physical war in another person in a sovereign state. So does that make any sense? Where there is a war already ongoing in your own country. So what I'm saying is, I do not perceive that there's going to be a third world war, because irrespective of the circumstances surrounding the crisis, every nation knows the adverse effect of engaging on a third world war. Nobody would dare try it.
Now, I know, I would like to agree with you that every nation knows, but when every nation knows, and then we see the likes of Russia and Ukraine, we see the likes of Hamas and, of course, Israel and all of that, I think it still calls back to asking that same question, do they really know the impact of war? I mean, some of them have witnessed it before. Does it mean that they have already forgotten what happened during the war? I mean, I wasn't alive to born then, but I've heard so far that it really cost a whole lot. Well, let's move away from that right now and come back to Nigeria, where the issue between the PDP presidential candidates Atiku Abubakar and the All Progressives Congress candidate and the current president of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is stirring so much reactions all around Nigeria and across the globe. Well, there have been concerns that the president may have forged a certificate in which he submitted to the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, during his, when he eyed that presidential seat. And recently we have seen lots of reactions when the Chicago State University finally released the records of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It had been made public, and some depositions. Well, so far This has been the issue on ground for weeks now, and recently the president has asked the Supreme Court to dismiss the appeal filed by Atiku Abubakar and the People's Democratic Party challenging the outcome of the February 25th presidential election. So I want to know your take on this issue.
See, firstly, I do not like the current narrative by some media houses. For instance, I watched a documentary of the BBC, a purported, very, very appalling.
Okay. I think we're having to reconnect back to Bernard Titus. Well, I just hope that we get to reconnect back. I think we lost that call, so we'll try to reconnect back and then we'll talk better on this issue, because this has been one of the major issues trailing the social media space and, of course, every other media space as well. Well, this is just to inform you that you can be a part of the show by calling the phone number displayed on your TV screen. Let us know your take on this issue. Well, the president has asked that the Supreme Court dismiss the appeal filed by Atiku Abubakar and the People's Democratic Party challenging the outcome of the February 25th presidential poll that saw him as the president of Nigeria. What do you think about that? I know there has been some report by, of course, the BBC. The certificate of the president was not forged, and of course they had their fact as well. But there have been different people calling out and saying this is not so. So this issue looks like it's not going to die anytime soon, because it's still fresh in the mouths of Nigerians. So let's also know your take on this issue. The number is displayed on your TV screen. Feel free to join the show. Send us a WhatsApp message or you send us a text message. You can also call into the show. And while we are trying to reconnect back to our guests so we can talk better on concerning this issue, we also have one pending issue concerning the security of Nigeria, as the Minister of Police Affairs called for a partnership with Turkey in terms of air surveillance. Okay, welcome back, Bernard.
Thank you.
Okay, so go ahead.
So like I was saying, the narrative that some of the media houses are currently put does not make sense. There should be a thorough investigative journalism. Media houses are to do diligent, critical report analysis that is coherent with any national issue. I'm so disappointed with the BBC, and I understand that some of the media houses just want to coin words and coin phrases from the actual main issue. It is evidently clear. Let me say this, with all due respect to the Spectrum organization. The Bola Ahmed issue regarding his credentials in my net today, it started from 1999. There is a local parlance that says when there is rumor, technical rumor around, there is usually an element of truth. I remember, and I read in an article, what Gael Fahmy himself sued Bola Ahmed Tinubu for forgery as of 1999. Right?
Yeah, far back when he contested for the Lagos governorship seat.
Absolutely correct. And then, as of that 1999, the affidavit he swore and the secondary school he trained in school are not coherent. Now, thank God for Atiku Abubakar, who went further for Chicago State University. And then thank God also for the chief judge that stood our ground and said, no, you cannot subvert the public knowledge of the Nigerians to know the truth. And what happens? The subpoenas and every report from the CSU is in public domain. That the certificate which he hold or claim is not issued by the school authority. And then you see young Nigerians, like I went to school, primary school, secondary school, university. And then I would stand on the ground to support someone who fought. That is, it amazes me of how we've lost our integrity. And we are Nigerians are a subject of ridicule. We were battling with our young people coming and duping people internationally and making a mess of the country. We were battling with that and rigorous check at the international airport, locally, and all of that. Now we are now also labeled as academic fraudsters.
Okay, now let me ask a question because I know this is the first time I'm getting your take on this issue, and I know you are a strong critic of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration and how he came to, become the president of Nigeria. So, do you think that so far, with all the evidences to prove that the president may have, according to reports or, I would say reports that he may have forged his certificate, do you think that there is a chance, considering the fact that so many people have said they have lost confidence? Yesterday, I had a lawyer who said has lost confidence in the judiciary system. So considering the fact that so many people have lost confidence in the judiciary system of a country, do you see any way out of this? I mean, the president has already gone ahead to tell the Supreme Court to drop down all the prayers of the PDP.
Firstly, Rachel, if a lawyer has claimed that he doesn't longer have trust on the system, I'm not a lawyer. So I don't even know what to tell you the extent to which the bunch of that called benches or whatever their names are called, with all respect to my phrase, I will not allow any of my son or daughter to read law in this country. It's a mess. I won't. It doesn't make any sense. And for the matter at hand, I do remember I told you from the beginning when we started having some issues, some different topical issues that we discussed. I've had opportunity to discuss with your station, and I continue to hold the fact that we do not have justice system in Nigeria. We've lost it. All of them should go home and get their clothes and whatever they put on their head and get it burned and retire compulsorily. There is no need for them to call themselves learned colleagues or whatever their names are usually referred to. So with all due respect to the few sane ones, I mean, we are in a country where truth are sovereign, justice are sovereign, judges are corrupt to the highest. I don't know what to classify it. So I do not have any confidence. In fact, there's no confidence of having on the judiciary. Anybody want to have confidence on them, you are wasting. You might even die before they even break your heart. So there is pointless hoping on them. All I know is that sooner or later, this country, people will carry cutlasses and sit in the government house and need to be heard. That if I don't become a little government run by crooks or by me, we die here. So that's where we are heading to.
Well, I want to say,
we have a president whose seat, the secondary school he claimed to have finished from, started 3 years earlier before.
Is it 3 years earlier or after?
Yes, 4 years earlier. So all the schools he claimed he attended, none is added. They don't add up to nothing.
Okay, I know, trust me, I know already you're a strong critic of the president and you wouldn't say something quite nice on that issue. Well, let's quickly get to the last issue we're talking about today. It's concerning Nigeria's security. This is a major concern. Recently, I must say that I give kudos to the Nigerian army for fighting a good fight. But the Minister of Police Affairs, Senator Ibrahim Gaidam, has called for the assistance of Turkey in the area of aerial surveillance and technical system to tackle insecurity in Nigeria. But first, let us assess the security situation in Nigeria currently. Don't forget that we are still having the 8 kidnapped victims of the 8 kidnapped core members from Akwa Ibom State still in the hands of kidnappers in Zamfara State. So I just want a little summary or review of how the security system is so far in Nigeria since the assumption of the current president.
You see, all the service chiefs should be retired. All.
I'm sorry. All the service chiefs that worked with the past administration were retired, and you're having another one. You know.
I'm talking about the newly appointed.
Why do you say so? Why do you say so?
I mean, how can a serving chief be holding the Mr. President back and escorting him at the airport? He is now an APA. I mean, a serving chief at the airport holding Mr. President's briefcase. So if he's now holding Mr. President's briefcase, that means most of us should be holding his shoes and his clothes from touching the ground. So look at, we still have about, like you rightly noted, we have about 8 adopted corps members. Up till this very day, nothing has been done. That is one. 2, I accept that there should be state policing. I completely accept it. Let's find a way to. You see, the perpetrators of these crimes are our neighbors, are people we know on the streets. And I can tell you, 95% of successful adoption are well planned. The security agencies are fully aware. The security agencies are fully aware.
Now, when
you can't travel. You can't travel on a road to Lagos or from here to Abuja or Lagos.
Bernard, are you saying there are no improvements at all?
Well, I to my best of knowledge, I'm not saying that they're not doing their best. They're doing their best, but all I'm saying is enough of all this talk. We've been talking from 1999 about insecurity, and they will give, like what you see the service chief have done and taking a collaboration with the Turkish government. It's another avenue for them to lose money.
Okay, when you say it's another, Bernard, when you say it's another avenue for them to loot money, I'd like you to shed more lights, because I mean we're seeing the minister, talking about partnering with Turkey or needing Turkey's assistance in the area of aerial surveillance and technical system, and then the ambassador, Turkey as ambassador to Nigeria, has also talked about exploring avenues and collaboration and all of that in area of even capacity buildings and combat in transnational crime. So in what area do you think they are going to loot money? Wouldn't there be, an account that checks whatever influx of money is being pumped into that sector?
Rachel, did you remember the issue of the Dasuki in that song? This is the same strategy that they did. at the end of the armed deal, it was meant to enrich the top military high-ranking officials. So, they are telling us that they want to do surveillance and collaboration so that the federal government will chunk in a huge amount of resources for them, and in less than a week or 2 weeks, that matter will be done. You see, I hate the implementation process of those in governance. I don't like the way they implement strategies and strategic policies. It doesn't make sense.
Well, I must say that implementation in Nigeria has been one of the, would I say, topics that has been
of the biggest problem of our country.
Yeah, it's been one of the issues that we're facing in Nigeria. The laws are not the problem. The strategies, but how to implement these ideas has become a problem, because several times we have to recommend what needs to be done, but we don't get to see it being done.
Rachel, the same thing before the last government that just left. I mean, don't they fight? Told Nigerians that there is a Nigerian airline.
Okay. Okay, I think we're having to reconnect again. Yeah, if you joined us yesterday, or if you watched that yesterday, we talked about the former Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, and of course, despite the failed Nigeria Air project, it still went ahead to get another appointment in Katsina in the area of, you know, security as well, getting funds for security in Katsina. And Katsina has been one of the, you know, I would say areas or states in the country that is prone to attack. And then it still boils down to the issue of you couldn't handle something well and you're given another chance, and not just in any sector, a very critical one. I see we're having to bring that issue back again. Well, let's see if we can reconnect back to our guest, Bernard Titus, and see if we can wrap it up because of time, or we're running out of time already. Well, today we've been talking about, the first report we looked at was the issue of a war between Hamas and Israel. Welcome back, Bernard. Hello, Bernard. Well, I think we're still having difficulties connecting back with him. So far, we've talked about the issue between the war in Hamas and Israel, and we also looked at the president's certificate forgery saga. We've been told that the president has, according to report, asked the Supreme Court to stand down the prayers of the People's Democratic Party and its candidate Atiku Abubakar, challenging the outcome of 2023 presidential polls, which saw him as the president of Nigeria. And here we are talking about security in Nigeria. Well, in the words of a Turkey ambassador, he says, since Nigeria got independence in 1960, the relationship has continued to grow without issues, and they intend to sign two agreements on security cooperation and memorandum of understanding on cooperation and law enforcement training once they secure approval, of course, from Turkey. So don't you think this is already a good feat if Nigeria partners with Turkey in the area of air surveillance when it comes to security? Maybe we could help curb some crimes that are going on in the state. Don't forget that we are still finding it hard to recover the kidnapped victims of the core members who were kidnapped on their way, of course, to their place of serving the nation. And so far, it's been a month plus right now, and we're still talking about how getting those core members back, and it looks like everything is going on smooth. Well, the government may have had their strategies laid down in closed doors on ground, but I think it's taken too long, and we are talking about security here. Well, if partnering Turkey will be a better option, then I think we should go ahead and do what is right for Nigeria. Well, this is where we close the curtains for today and this week on the program. It's been the program, The Law of the People and Governance, here on Spectrum Television. But don't forget to follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, SpectrumTV Live.ng. And you can also follow me on X at Rachwhite. That's RECHWHYTE, all is one word. My name is Rachel David White. Catch you again next week. Good evening.